Hi, everybody. Welcome to Local Hogwash. I am Kristy Bach.
I'm here. I'm Michelle Cash.
We have had a tumultuous week.
Wow.
So we're not going to jump right into that. If you want to catch our real opinions on everything that happened, follow us in about 10 minutes.
Jeez.
So let's start with some of the positives. I'm going to start because I literally just met Dale Falwell, the North Carolina treasurer, and he was really cool.
He's really nice. I didn't meet him. I've seen him in the past, but
he's funny. He stayed and answered questions and answered them until I understood them, which doesn't always happen. And he shared his recovery from COVID, and just a really, really, really cool human. So before we get into the crazy that was this week,
the fun stuff.
I mean, this is kind of leading into it, but I just have to share it. I don't naturally have respect for people. I know that's horrible to say, and you're not supposed to be that way, but I didn't grow up normal, and so I don't respect everybody on site. I treat them with respect on site.
And see, I'm the opposite. I respect everyone and am nice to everyone until they give me a reason not to be. Then when you give me a reason not to respect you or be nice to you, it's over. You ain't, I'm like home slice out there. It's hard to get off that
list
to get back. Mm-hmm.
So where I was going with that is when I meet people, whether they're in a position of power or whether they're the clerk at the gas station that I get gas at, mm-hmm. I treat everyone the same. I'm genuinely mostly kind all of the time.
I'm not laughing. I'm not disagreeing. It's just funny.
There are instances where I will show my ugly if necessary. It just doesn't happen all that often.
There we are. We're opposites again.
Last night, the city council in the city of Kinston had their meeting on the budget, and News was fairly instrumental in getting the information out to the public to let them know.
Fairly?
Okay. News was instrumental in getting the information to the public so that the public can comment and go to the meeting if necessary and just have an informed opinion about it. Like, when you talk about raising taxes, people are going to get angry. When you talk about, but if you can facilitate a conversation as to why you want to raise taxes and why it's necessary to raise taxes.
And give good reasoning.
People will usually get behind it. Now, Tony Sears is the city manager, and he did an excellent, I know, don't make that face, I'll be sad. Tony Sears did an excellent job explaining why the tax increase was necessary. Mm-hmm. He explained the fund balance, the legality that it had to be maintained at a certain level, and that for the past 3 years they've continuously borrowed from that fund balance to support the balanced budget, and that's not a sustainable plan. Yeah. So he had to kind of pump the brakes and say, no, we have to do this now. So, and I respect that. I understood it. I was able to convey that in the articles I wrote, because once I understood it, it was like a light bulb. Oh, get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I can write about it. But in that same budget proposal, there were a few other line items. Go ahead. Go ahead.
There's a bow tie budget.
It was not called a bow tie budget.
That's what I call it. It's a bow tie cleaning budget.
So all of this is leading up to the culmination of last night. At the city council meeting, Michelle's blood pressure's already getting started.
I have chill bumps just thinking about it.
At the city council meeting last night, a few comments were made about news.
Disparaging comments.
And this moment right here.
The news insurgency.
How do we feel about that?
Well, my response is going to be right here. Because I was so pissed off that I created a bleep bleep video. And I really do struggle not to swear, so I don't bleep myself for the show. I bleep myself when I'm sitting in a room with people that I know.
Roll it, Danny.
Secondly, on the budget pay raise, I call it the news insurgency. The way they attacked this council last year during the COVID.
So good.
So my response is A. If you're going to insult a writer, which you did by calling out News and the articles I wrote, know your vocabulary, sir. If you're going to attempt to insult me or the organization that I work for, be accurate. And know that my vocabulary is extensive. And I know what insurgency means. That's it.
It's a noun.
If I'm being real honest with myself and with everybody else, because of the articles that I wrote, because of the what BJ put out, 6 individuals in this county were denied a raise. Period. I mean, that's the hard stop of the conversation. Now, you can argue semantics. Did they deserve one? We just came off of a pandemic. There's so many different things as you can say there. But the reality of it is, if we're saying that News was instrumental in making this change, then we have to own the fact that we prevented 6 people from getting a raise. Now, one of those 6 people repeatedly reiterated that they don't need the money themselves. They want to take that money and give it to the little people.
Well, then take the money from your real paycheck and give it to the little people. I guarantee.
And quit calling them little people.
I guarantee I'm going to tell you, he does not give that full salary to the little people.
One of the council members reached out, and I admit to being not terrified because, one, I didn't do anything wrong, but because I know that I was instrumental in a person not getting a raise. I don't know what their circumstances are. I don't know if they needed that money, if they, whatever the case may be. I try never to come in between people and their money. But the reality of it is, it wasn't their money.
Yeah.
It was the taxpayers for the city of Kinston. So I was nervous. I think that's a better way to put it. I was nervous that the phone call was going to be tense or uncomfortable, and it absolutely wasn't. I had such a delightful conversation with Mayor Pro Tem Felicia Solomon. She's a joy. What shined through the most on this conversation was not what happened at the city council meeting, but her genuine love for the city of Kinston. And I would just like to, I would be remiss if I did not say, she was the sole voice.
The only one with any common sense.
She was the sole voice that said, hey, when we first talked about raises, we weren't talking about raising the taxes. I don't think it's the appropriate time to talk about salary increases when we're raising the taxes.
Yes.
And she reiterated that message at least 3 times in a 20-minute conversation. So she felt passionately about it, and she shared that passion in a way that unfortunately went over like a lead balloon in that meeting. But with the help of News, we were able to get the community behind that.
Well, you and your insurgency.
my insurgency. A lot of people are going to have a lot of opinions, and the state of politics is never going to change. There's always going to be these types of issues that come up, and there's always going to be a group who disagrees or a group that passionately agrees. And those two are going to have to work out their differences. What made this all stand out to me was the lack of transparency with the city of Kinston.
I had a conversation with someone about that last night, or actually yesterday afternoon.
It's easy to blame the media for writing about you, because you're absolutely right. If we wouldn't have written about you, no one would have ever known what you did.
Yeah, but the news is the news.
It's literally in the job description.
Like, really?
But what I'm saying is I validate his feeling. He said he felt attacked.
If you don't want to be attacked, don't get into politics.
Agreed.
I got attacked.
You did.
Huh?
So
and I still lost.
So what I'd just like to add to that is the facts don't change because you don't want people to know them.
Exactly.
It's my job to do the best of my ability to write the facts. I've spoken to many different people, county, city employees, state politicians. I literally just interviewed Dale Felwell. And so I try really hard to make sure what I do say in a tribute is accurate. And I go out of my way and will follow up with someone and will say on a phone call, are you sure this is the message you want to give?
He asked me that several times.
I was actually talking about when I sent it to the mayor.
You really sure you want to say this?
I forgot I said that to you.
Yeah.
Because I kind of get a feeling of how it's going to turn out. Mm-hmm. So I will say, let me read this back to you so you can hear it and make sure that this is the quote you would like to attribute for this.
Also known as, I'm going to read this back so you can see how stupid it sounds. And I'm going to give you a fair chance to change it.
So,
in there.
I can't believe I forgot that. That's hilarious. But at least I'm consistent.
Yeah, very courteous.
So what I'm saying is, if you sound bad in an interview, and when I attribute your words to you and you feel like they made you sound bad, it is not me adding or subtracting anything. I'm just taking your words and putting them in where they fit in the article, period. It's basically an article is like putting a puzzle together. Mm. So I don't attack anybody. I'm not an insurgent. I'm not part of an insurgency. Although I stand by my statement that I did not post to Facebook, but really, really wanted to.
It was a good one.
If I'm going to be accused of being part of an insurgency, I want my crown.
Ding.
Just be transparent. Mm-hmm. If you want a raise and feel like you deserve a raise, but you're doing it in the time of a pandemic and coming off of a pandemic, well, I mean, we're still under a state of emergency, so I guess we're still in it. Right. And in addition to that, you're raising property taxes. Put in a forum and let the people vote on it. Yeah. Let the people who put you in office decide if you're worth more than they're currently making. And we're not talking about a lot of money. The reality of it is all they were asking for was $21,000 for the year.
Yeah.
And they're absolutely right. That's probably what a consultant would pay to come in and solve a problem. And that's not a lot of money. But, again, it was piss poor timing. And it was just a bad decision to be made behind closed doors.
If you're so worried about how much money you're going to make, you're obviously not on that board for the right reasons.
I have a slight disagreement there.
Really?
I do.
Why?
Because by that line of thinking, the only people who should ever run for office are people who are so comfortably financially seated that people like me, for example. Well, no, not me, because BJ would give me the time I needed. So me 10 years ago, mm-hmm. I worked a full-time job. I was raising 4 children. All the well-read and intelligence I could come up with wouldn't have enabled me to be on any city council because of the time commitment. And I couldn't lose the money I was making to do those things. So I'm not invalidating the need for them to have a raise. The position should pay more. I agree with that. Mm-hmm. I just think the timing of getting it there was terrible.
I can agree with that.
See, me and Michelle just agreed, and we didn't 10 seconds ago.
Exactly.
That's how politics is supposed to work.
People should use us as an example.
Yes, because you're not always going to agree.
No.
The truth of it is, Michelle and I are very different in everything: parenting, politics, and both of our kids are fine, and we're both involved in our politics. So, and it does not phase our friendship.
And we get along great.
Some of the conversations that we have concerning parenting or politics are our funniest moments.
Perfect question.
Oh, no.
Say you're independently wealthy and don't have to work. What would you do with your time?
I would run for all the offices.
All of them?
Well, I would
You can only have one.
at a time, but I'm young and I have at least 20 years of offices I could run for.
That's true.
I've only ever had 2 things I've wanted to do with my life. I've wanted to be a foster parent for as long as I can remember. I want to offer
You can foster me.
I want to foster older children because teenagers are so hard to place, and an unloved teenager is it's just a breeding ground for future life problems.
Yeah.
So I was pretty good with my kids. I raised them to adulthood without any real
Oh, they're pretty cool.
without any real instances. So I think I'm not done yet
They're
being
not
a
hardened
parent.
criminals or anything.
Right. What was your least favorite food as a child? And do you still hate it or do you love it now?
Easy. Fried pork chops.
You hated fried pork chops?
Mm-hmm.
Did somebody make them badly?
Yes.
Okay. My childhood food that I didn't eat as a child, I still don't eat, and it's just corn.
Corn?
Corn.
Who doesn't like corn? Probably, I don't like pork chops or eggs, so.
Corn is disgusting. It is yellow. You chew it, swallow it, and it reconstitutes itself in your digestive tract. That's disgusting.
Still manages to come out whole.
I killed her. Oh my god. On that note,
We had a great time.
we had a good time.
Thank you very much, BJ Murphy, for your sponsorship.
And thank you, Brandon, for not only creating our logo and being a generally wonderful human, but I really like when you take pretty pictures. We will see you all again next week, same time, same place, where we have the lovely Tanisha Darden, and I
Her
look forward to
brushes.
seeing her and her brushes, beauty brushes. All right. See you guys later. Bye.